To trap possums, first you have to find the possums. This can be half of the battle with all of the 1080 that's been spread around in New Zealand. But if you can find an area that hasn't been 1080'd in a while, you're in the money. If you're trapping for fur, you want an area with quite high possum numbers. But if you're after skins, medium possum numbers are better. If you can find an area with medium level to low level possums, the skins are going to be a lot nicer. It's a good idea to take a basic first aid kit and also some kind of emergency locator beacon. When looking for possum sign or areas to put your traps, you could be looking for bite marks on trees. You could be looking for possum shit or possum runs. Bear in mind, we're looking for possum sign. Bite marks on trees will start looking old after just a couple of days. And if it's been quite dry, possum shit will also dry out and look quite old. There's plenty of possum sign around. That's a good indication of high possum numbers in an area. Other examples of possum sign. See those lines on the moss? That's where they've pissed on the moss. First thing you want to do is dig a little hole in the ground with your hammer to bed the trap into. To set the trap, I'll use the outside edge of my left hand and the centre of the palm of my right hand, push the trap down onto my leg to open it up, and I'll separate the jaws with my thumbs, pinch it with my right hand, I'll push it up into the bottom of my knee, pinch it right open with my right hand, flip the trap dog over, pinch that together with my left hand. This stops the trap closing, and then I'll use my right hand to set the plate up into the trap dog. This is a heavy set. That's a fine set. You want it about halfway. If it's set too heavy, the trap might not spring. If it's set too fine, you'll catch a lot of rats. You want to set it about halfway so the possum stands in it and it closes on his back leg. When hammering the chain into the tree, don't use the ring on the end of the chain, as these rings can split. Use a chain link. You want to bed your trap down nice and firmly so the possum can't tip it over if he stands in it. You want the trap about a hand's width away from the tree, and you want to put your flower about 1 hammer length up the tree. Why do you do this? So the possum comes up, needs to stand on his back legs to get to the lure, and then you catch him by the back leg, which is a much better catch than catching him by the front leg. Make sure it's firmly bedded down so it won't tip over. You want to set your traps about 60 to 100 metres apart. If you're going into an area and you only plan on being in that area for a short time and then pulling your traps out, it's a good idea to set the traps 20 or so metres apart. But if you plan to be in there for a while, the further apart you set your traps, the more time you will have before you have to move them. And if you stop catching on a particular trap after 3 nights, or if you haven't caught anything on a trap in 3 nights, move that trap. Possums will quite often look at the lure the first night, have a wee taste on the second night, and then start feeding on it on the 3rd night. So leave your traps in an area at least 3 nights. Tie some fluorescent tape onto the end of the chain you're threading the traps onto. Thread traps on, plate first. This saves them tangling up, and carry 10 traps in a bunch. Run cotton line through the forest to mark your trap line. Make sure it's well over head height so deer don't walk through it and drag it off, and also so it doesn't get tangled on you or your pack as you're walking through the forest. Another good idea is to snap pepper trees over. They easily mark your trail, and they will also glow in the dark under torchlight. It's also a good idea to break ferns off. This also marks the trail and keeps your legs dry if it's wet. Remember to mark every trap with a piece of fluorescent tape. That way it's really easy to see them as you're walking your line. When you pluck the possum, I guess there's different ways to skin a cat, but I start with the tail and then do one back leg up the back and across to the belly, then the other back leg up the back and across the belly, then both front legs, then the head and the neck. When you pluck, grab it between your thumb and your fingers and rub up the body. You get a lot more fur this way, and also practice gathering the fur in your hand. The more fur you can pluck without chucking it into the bag, the quicker that possum will get plucked.